Yo, what's up boys? It's Betta here with my Soulwrest Necromancer League Starter build guide for 3.18 Sentinel, which takes advantage of the Soulwrest staff. The reason why we want to take advantage of the staff early on, especially for league starting, is the fact that you don't even need to link it at all. All that you need is just the basic 6 sockets on it and you're pretty much golden. What we also take advantage of is using a summon Phantasm support. This enables us to have up to 20 summoned Phantasms at the same time. That means that we are able to gain, if not, yeah, we're able to gain around about double our damage. And on top of this, our clear speed is really quick too. And overall, it's around about only 5 chaos early on in the league. It could maybe be 10 chaos, so it depends, but it will be really cheap early on, and I highly recommend that if you've never played with Phantasms, then you should really give this a shot. Of course, we also make use of using Triad grips to convert the physical damage into cold damage and a little bit of lightning damage, and then we're just using skitterbots for the extra damage, along with hatred and that as well for extra damage too. You can also use purity of elements and determination early on. It just depends on how beefy you really want to be. Obviously, as the Soulwrest staff cannot be obtained in the early acts, you will be leveling as Absolution right from the beginning, and then right through all of the acts. It will be super quick and easy. You literally just shit on everything, especially the act bosses and that as well. It is absolutely amazing to play Absolution going through the acts and that. And then once you get into earlier maps, you'll still be playing Absolution until around about level 80 or so. Once you have gotten your Soulwrest staff, then the budget for the entire setup or so, you'll be looking at spending around about 40 chaos, maybe 50 chaos. It could be cheaper, however, you know, it does depend on the league start prices, of course. Right, and then what makes this build even more powerful as well is the fact that it doesn't even need any clusters for the budget variants. Obviously, going into the endgame variants and that, you will be using clusters, but it won't be all too expensive, and yeah. So the basis of the setup is just to get through all of your earlier maps and that, to get through your red maps and to begin bossing. And by the time you begin bossing, I'm sure that you'll be able to invest more into the build. Right, should this build appeal to you, then smack that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated on my latest videos or live streams that I do right here on YouTube. Also, consider liking the video in hopes of reaching more exiles, and join my community Discord should you need any help with the build. In terms of leveling up this build, I have got Path of Building notes in each of the Path of Buildings for you, right from Act 1 all the way until Act 5 of how you should progress through the acts. So from Act 1, you'll be using Freezing Pulse, Link to Arcane Surge until you're around about level 4. Whereby you can then switch over and use Summon Raging Spirit, Link to Ruthless, Summon Phantasm. You'll want to use a Holy Flame Totem on the side as well, just to bait bosses. And then you will need Flame Dash to get around, Link to Arcane Surge, which should remain at level 3. And then you will want to use a Clarity, as you will be needing a lot of mana regeneration going through the acts, especially once you pick up Absolution. Then you will want to grab Flesh Offering, Raise Zombie, and Infernal Legion for later on. This is from Act 2 and like Act 5 or so. And then once you are level 12, you'll want Absolution, Link to minion damage, and added lightning damage. Right, moving on to Act 2. The very first thing that you want to do is buy a Jade Amulet and a Heavy Bout from Yina for all of the attribute requirements that we will need later on. And then you'll want to pick up a Skitterbots once you are level 16 and link that to the Infernal Legion. This does a lot of damage to enemies and helps out with the clear speed through the acts by a tremendous amount. I really do recommend that you should give it a shot if you've never used it. It really is overpowered. Anyways, and then you'll want to use Absolution, Link to minion damage, and then faster casting instead of your added lightning damage. Right. Then once you are in Act 3, you must do the library quest. This is in order to gain, so you can buy your physical to lightning gem. And then Of course, in Act 3, Absolution must be linked to minion damage, fast casting, and then physical to lightning. Only once you have a 4 link, obviously. And then you'll want to pick up Raise Spectre and Animate Guardian for later on. Then you must also grab your Determination now, which you will be running to. So you'll be running Clarity, Determination, and your Skitterbots. You should have enough mana, because on the tree you should have your Sovereignty allocated by now. And then moving on, you will just pick up Desecrate and Molten Shell. You can use Desecrate while leveling through the acts with your Flesh Offering to beef up your, well, not to beef up your minions, but just to give them an overall extra amount of damage. And then you must pick up your Purative Elements, which you'll be using later on in your earlier maps. So resistances are not a problem. You can drop Skitterbots to run it before maps, obviously. And then once you are level 28, you want to do the wand recipe, which requires a magic wand, a rare ring, which I would recommend to be a topaz, so that we gain added lightning damage to spells. You can use a ruby or a sapphire with the corresponding damage. So yeah, it's the one magic wand. You'll want the rare ring, and then one alteration. These ones will carry you all the way through maps. You won't have to worry about your damage all too much or anything. And also be sure to just throw an augment onto it, and then that way maybe you have a chance of gaining some extra cool modifiers, and then later on you can just throw on a regal and then probably craft it in earlier maps. That way you can not worry about upgrading your wands early on. Right, and then once you are in Act 4, you'll want to pick up Carrion Golem and link it to Feeding Frenzy and Culling Strike, just for quality of life. And then moving on to Act 5, you'll want to now use your Raised Spectres and your Raised Zombies, which must now be linked to Meat Shield. You can pick up Meat Shield, I think it's in Act 2 or 3, somewhere around there. Anyways, and then for your Raised Spectres, you want to pick up 2 Carnage Chieftains. You can acquire these from Act 2. And then from here on, you can pretty much just speed your way right through the acts without any problems in that. Make sure to do your normal lab at the end of Act 3. And then your cruel lab should be around about Act 7 or so. And then you should do your merciless lab just before you kill Katava. This way you will have everything required and you shouldn't struggle with resistances or damage or anything like that. And then from there on until level 80, you will level with Absolution, of course. Right, so let's just cover our Ascendancy first, and then I'll go over the entire skill tree for you as well. Just do remember that I have got the Path of Building links down below in the description for you. I've got the initial budget setup, and then I have the Soulwrest setup for you, which I've already mentioned is about 30 to 40k or something. It's really, really cheap. And then, of course, I have an endgame variant of it as well, whereby you'll spend a couple of exalts. You can also get awakened gems and that stuff as well. So yeah, that is that. So for your normal lab, you'll want to pick up Mindless Aggression first for the minion damage and attack and cast speed. This is really, really good early on for that extra damage that it gives on minions. And then in Cruel Lab, you'll want to pick up your Commander of Darkness. This is giving our minions some more damage and attack and cast speed too. But more importantly, this gives them elemental resistances along with ourselves too. That way we can cap out our elemental resistances really quickly early on. And then for your Merciless Lab, you'll want to pick up a Natural Strength for the 2 level of all minion skill gems. This is overall just really, really powerful. And it beefs up all of your minions as well, so they don't die at all. And it's really, really solid. And then for your Uber Lab, you'll want to pick up Mistress of Sacrifice. So your offering skills apply to you as well. Typically by now you want to start using your Bone Offering, and then it also gives extra skill effect duration, which is super, super awesome. The reason why you want to be using Bone Offering, of course, is for the attack block chance and for the spell block chance too. Early on, you will just pretty much path all the way and grab some life. You'll get Enduring Bond and that to make your Absolution last a little bit longer too. This is also really good for the Summon Raging Spirits. And then we move on to just grab some life in the tree, and then some more quality of life for our minions in terms of extra regeneration and life, and then some more damage. Spiritual Command is really good early on too, seeing as though Absolution applies to us for our own damage as well. This means that increases and reductions to minion attack speed will also affect you, making you attack a lot quicker. This is summoning your Absolution Sentinels much faster. Then we go on ahead and pick up some extra life here, and then Sovereignty for the reservation efficiency, so we can fit in all of our auras. And then from there on, you'll want to come and pick up Righteous Army and Redemption. This is for the extra damage too. Once again, a little bit of survivability for our minions here. And then you must pick up Spiritual Aid too, so increases and reductions to minion damage also affect you. This will most likely double your Absolution DPS for yourself, which will be really solid early on. And then from there on, it's pretty much just pathing up here to get death attunements for the extra specters and zombies and skeletons. Just before doing this, you want to pick up Lord of the Dead as well for the extra zombie, some more minion damage and extra minion life too. Super solid there. And then from there on, you will want to just path down and grab Grave Pact, and pretty much then you'll grab some. Then you'll want to grab Cruel Preparation and that for some more life. Down here, once again, some more life for Constitution and so forth. So this is my. I'm currently only level 83 at the moment. This is before cluster. You should only get your cluster at around about level 90 or so. In order to trigger the Phantasm skills in that, I have got a Cyclone linked to Cast While Channeling, Desecrate, and Bone Offering. This is so that we can consume the corpses, and this we can create our Phantasms, which we can have up to 20 of, and can have 20 of them because we have the support here as well. Right, so linked to that, you want damage on full, well, not linked. Remember, your staff does not need to be linked at all, okay guys? It just needs to be 6-socketed, or even 5-socketed early on is perfectly fine. You know, there isn't much of a damage difference. So yeah, I'll just have a damage on full life here with increased critical damage and faster projectiles and lesser multiple projectiles, and then minion damage. Overall, this is just for clear speed, and this is not a bossing setup. If you do want more of a bossing setup, then you should check out the endgame setup. In terms of our helmet, you want a bone helmet, and then you will want to essence this. I believe that you should use a deafening essence of loathing on any minion helmets, just to get the extra reservation efficiency, which you will need to fit in all of your auras. Of course, if you don't have this helmet, then you can just drop your Defiance banner and you'll be pretty much golden. Other than that, you should just have a little bit of life and resistance on the helmet. The lab enchant doesn't matter. This was just a random helmet that I picked up out of my stash. And then for the amulet, you'll want to use a Jinx Juju. This is so that 10% of all damage is taken before your Spectre's life, and increase the effect of Curse. Well, increase the effect of your auras as well, which helps us out in becoming a little bit more defensive and giving our minions that extra damage with our Hatred aura as well. In terms of your anointment, you'll want to anoint DK Ward. This is in order to give your minions extra block chance and to recover life when they block. This is so that they don't die, especially your Phantasms in T16s and that. Sometimes the enemies can throw down some huge AoE damage dealers and pretty much just wipes them out. And this is so that we can circumvent that from happening. Otherwise, then we just get some extra chaos resistance here, which is pretty cool. Later on, you'll obviously want more chaos resistance on your other gear pieces, but early on, this is just super solid for the time being. And then in terms of your chest, with the implicit, you want Determination has increased aura effect if you're running Determination. If you choose to run Hatred instead like I am right now, then you can have Hatred as increased aura effects. I was running Determination, but I felt like that it was not really that necessary. I only feel like Determination is necessary on bosses. And other than that, for the Searing Exarch, I just have damage taken recouped as life. This is just for a little bit more quality of life, which goes in hand with our high life regeneration that we gain from the staff and overall life regeneration as well. And then what you want on the body armor is just a little bit of life and a decent amount of resistances as well, just to make sure that you do reach your resistance cap, obviously. And then for our first ring, we are using a Profane Proxy, and inside of it we have our Elemental Weakness. So what this ring does is, because it's in the left slot, instead of Skitterbots chilling enemies, it will apply Elemental Weakness to them within a fair amount of a radius. I'm not 100% sure on the radius, but it is fairly large, and this gives some extra quality of life. Along with the Skitterbot Shock as well is absolutely amazing. This pretty much gives us an extra 30% damage, I'd say, maybe even 40%. Super solid. It also gives us a little bit of cold and lightning resistance as well, and levels to our elemental weakness. Early on, this is really good to use, and you should really use it. And then for our other ring is just a unset ring with some dexterity and life. Of course, you will want some form of dexterity on your gear, as the build is dexterity starved. You could also pick up agility here on the skill tree, or you could even pick up precision as well, should you not get any dexterity on your gear, but I don't think that will really be necessary. And then, of course, we'll socket in our Convocation here, or even your Flame Dash. This is just because we are socket starved on the build. And then for our gloves, you'll be using a Triad grip with 3 green and 1 blue. This is so that our Phantasms, well, actually all of our minion damage, 75% of it will be transferred to cold damage, and 25% of it will be transferred to lightning damage. This is in order to double dip on the damage of our minions, of course, which is really good, and it just gives them a chance to free shock and ignite. Nothing too serious there. And then moving on to the boots, you'll want a life regeneration rate implicit from each of the worlds, and then the Searing Exarch movement speed. It's pretty much up to you what you would like to use here, but these are the most solid early on, should I say. Otherwise, you'll just want some movement speed on your boots, of course, just to be a little bit more speedy, and some extra resistance and life. Over here, I crafted on strength and dexterity, as I didn't have enough to run all of the auras and that stuff. And then for our belt, obviously, we're using a Darkness Enthroned. This is because we can take advantage of 2 nice juicy minion jewels like these ones, whereby it has life and minions have increased attack and cast speed with some extra physical damage. Early on, these might be expensive, so looking for the physical damage, I wouldn't really recommend that. Rather looking for ones that have got added cold damage and that, as I have here in the skill tree, are super solid. Also, getting a chance for your minions to blind on hit. This is really good early on. Obviously, we are running a Raised Spectre, Raised Zombie, linked to Meat Shield, along with our Animate Guardian as well. And then, of course, is the Cyclone cost while channeling, Desecrate, and Bone Offering. This is to generate our Phantasms. And then in your body armor, or pretty much anywhere, you can fit in your Purity of Elements, your Molten Shell, which should remain on left click, and then summon Skitter. Wait, hang on a second. Yes, okay. And then your summon Skitterbots too. That was a brain fart and a half on my part. And then over here I've got Flame Dash sockets in as well, just for general movement. And then I'm using the Defiance banner for the reduced critical strike chance that enemies have around you. And then, of course, the extra armor and evasion rating, which is super helpful early on. And then, obviously, I'm running the and then I have determination as well. I would like to just mention that should you have enough elemental resistances, then you can drop your purity of elements and then run determination instead. The amount of mana reservation is exactly the same, but I am running purity of elements instead because, as you can see, my resistances aren't really capped. In terms of the flasks, then obviously you're just going to have immunity to corrupted blood on your life flask, and then a reduced effective chill on you, as we are already freeze immune. And then reduced effective curses is super good too. And then you'll want to have increased armor and evasion, seeing as though we are using a granite and a jade. I do just want to note as well that you can go ahead and pick up a Rumi's Concoction for the extra block chance to cap you out, should you want to do that early on. Alright, and that is the build, Exiles. So, if you enjoyed this build guide on my Soulwrest Necromancer League starter, then I highly recommend that you should subscribe to my channel, as I release build guides often and I stream right here on YouTube as well. You should come swing by sometime. We have a lot of fun in the live streams, and I would also like to just thank each and every single one of you who do support me and who have continued to support me. I really do appreciate you guys. And yeah. I will see you guys in the next video or live stream. Thanks for watching, Exiles.